Welcome to a deep dive into the very nature of consciousness.
Mm,
We'll be exploring a fascinating thought experiment
okay.
from the paper Meta-Awareness and the Play of Infinite Consciousness.
Right.
Now, I know the title might sound a bit academic,
Yeah.
but trust me,
Okay.
this paper proposes a truly mind-bending idea.
It suggests that what we perceive as our individual consciousness might actually be a tiny ripple on a vast ocean of a single infinite consciousness.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Let's unpack that.
Sure.
So how does this paper even begin to approach such a huge concept?
Well, it all starts with a simple question.
Okay.
What if everything we experience,
Yeah.
everything we know,
Uh-huh.
is just one tiny facet
Okay.
of a much larger, more
Yeah.
fundamental reality?
Okay, I'm already intrigued.
Yeah.
But where do we even begin
Yeah.
to wrap our heads around that?
Interestingly, the paper starts with something we all experience every single day.
Okay.
Time.
Time.
Yeah.
How does that relate to this idea of infinite consciousness?
Well, think about it.
Okay.
Even our perception of time is limited.
Right.
A dog waiting for its dinner
Uh-huh.
probably doesn't experience time the same way we do.
Right. And the paper points out
Yeah.
how different species on Earth
Exactly.
have varying levels of what we call temporal awareness.
Right.
Some animals seem to have a much better grasp of time than others.
Exactly. And then when you bring in scientific perspectives like Einstein's theory of relativity,
Okay.
it gets even more complex.
Because relativity tells us that time isn't this fixed, absolute thing.
Right.
It's relative to the observer.
Exactly.
And then we have quantum mechanics,
Yes.
which grapples with time in a whole other way.
Right.
It treats time as a fixed parameter in its equations,
Uh-huh.
not something that can be quantized like other variables.
Right.
So that already challenges our everyday understanding of time.
Yeah.
But how does this connect back to the idea of infinite consciousness?
The paper uses this concept to introduce us to what it calls I am.
I am.
Yes.
Well-
It's presented as this infinite eternal consciousness
Okay.
that exists outside of our limited perception of time.
I am.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a pretty bold claim.
It is.
Where does this I am come from?
The paper actually has this dramatic moment where I am introduces itself,
Wow.
describing itself as the source of all life,
Oh, wow.
all reality, of
Okay.
everything.
Wow, so how does an infinite consciousness that's aware of everything
Right.
even experience a world of individual beings like us?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be overwhelming?
That's where the idea of veiled awareness comes in.
Okay.
The paper uses a really helpful analogy here.
Okay.
A TV screen.
Okay, I'm listening.
Yeah.
How does a TV screen explain infinite consciousness?
Think about it.
Okay.
When you're watching a movie,
Uh-huh.
you get completely engrossed in the story,
Okay.
the characters, the
Yeah.
emotions.
Right.
You're not really aware of the individual pixels
Yeah.
or the light particles hitting the screen.
You're experiencing the information in a processed, meaningful way.
Exactly.
But what if the TV itself was suddenly aware of all that raw data?
Right.
All those pixels and light particles?
Yeah.
It would be a chaotic mess, right?
It would be.
Like a static snowstorm on the screen?
Precisely. It would be in a state of maximum entropy.
Okay.
Total chaos.
Yeah.
No discernible patterns.
Right.
Just pure randomness.
So is the paper saying that I am is like that TV screen?
Yes.
But instead of pixels and light,
Exactly.
it's aware of everything in the universe.
That's the idea. And just like that TV screen needs to filter out the raw data
Uh-huh.
to display a coherent image,
Right.
I am veils its complete awareness
Okay.
to allow for individual experiences to emerge.
So our individual consciousnesses are like those images on the TV screen.
Yes.
Little pockets of lower entropy
Exactly.
where meaning can arise.
Exactly. The paper also uses the dream and the veiled dreamer analogy,
Okay.
where the dreamer is completely immersed in the dream.
Right.
To experience the dream as a character,
Okay.
I am needs to forget that it is a dreamer.
So in a way,
Yeah.
I am is creating limitations for itself
In a way, yes.
so that we can experience this world.
And that act of veiling, that forgetting,
Right.
is what creates the illusion of separation
Okay.
that we experience as individual beings.
The separation between us,
Right.
the world around us, and
Yeah.
this ultimate source of consciousness.
Exactly. I am.
Right.
That's-
And the paper argues that this illusion of separation
Okay.
is actually the root of a lot of the suffering we experience in life.
Right.
We crave connection,
Yeah.
but we've forgotten our inherent unity with I am
Uh-huh.
and with each other.
Okay, that's getting pretty deep.
It is.
But before we dive into the implications for suffering,
Yeah.
I'm still stuck in this idea of I am
Okay.
experiencing itself as pure entropy.
It's a mind-bending concept for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
But maybe a simple analogy can help. Imagine a hot cup of coffee cooling down. Okay, I can picture that.
Good.
What does coffee have to do with I am?
The heat from the coffee spreads out
Okay.
into the surrounding air,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually the coffee reaches room temperature.
Yeah.
The initial state of the hot coffee has a high energy gradient,
Right.
which is a form of information.
And as it cools down, it loses that energy gradient.
Exactly.
It becomes less organized.
Yes.
More homogeneous.
Exactly. That's entropy in action.
Okay.
The paper argues that for I experiencing itself directly
Yeah.
is like that cup of coffee reaching room temperature,
Okay.
a state of maximum entropy,
Right.
where there are no distinctions or separations.
Okay.
Just pure potentiality.
So is this paper suggesting that the entire universe is like that cup of coffee?
Whoa!
Slowly moving towards a state of maximum entropy.
That actually aligns with a hypothesis in physics,
Oh.
known as the heat death of the universe.
Okay.
But there is an alternate theory
Okay.
that the universe expands and contracts like breathing, a never-ending cycle.
Wow. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have...
From different perceptions of time
Uh-huh.
to I am veiling its awareness
Yeah.
to this idea of entropy.
Right.
My head is spinning a bit.
It's a lot to take in for sure,
Yeah.
but remember, this is just the beginning of our exploration.
Right. We still need to delve into what this all means for us as individuals
Yeah.
and explore the implications for things like suffering
Right.
and even free will.
Absolutely.
I'm ready to dive deeper when you are.
Let's do it.
Okay, so last time
Yeah.
we left off with this mind-blowing idea
Right.
that our individual consciousnesses might be like tiny ripples
Uh-huh.
on a vast ocean of a single infinite consciousness
Yeah.
that the paper calls I am.
Right.
And we touched on how I am might veil its awareness
Yes.
to allow for individual experiences to emerge,
Right.
much like a TV screen filtering out raw data to
Exactly.
display a coherent image.
Yes.
But what I'm really grappling with is how this idea of I am connects to something very human,
Yeah.
suffering.
Right.
If we're all part of this infinite blissful consciousness,
Yeah.
why do we experience so much pain and heartache?
That's a question that has puzzled philosophers and spiritual seekers for centuries.
Yeah.
And this paper offers a unique perspective.
I'm all ears. How does I am explain suffering?
Well, it goes back to that idea of veiled awareness.
Okay.
Remember to experience this world as individual beings.
Yeah.
I am has to, in a sense, forget its true nature.
Uh-huh.
It's like putting on a blindfold
Okay.
to play hide and seek.
So we're blindfolded to our own true nature as part of I am?
Precisely. And that blindfold creates the illusion of separation.
Okay.
The feeling that we're alone.
Right.
Disconnected from the source, from each other.
And that feeling of separation is what leads to suffering.
Exactly. We crave connection. We long for wholeness.
Right.
But we've forgotten our inherent unity with I am.
Right.
And with all beings.
It's like that saying, we're all just walking each other home,
Yes.
but we've forgotten where we're going
Exactly.
and who we're walking with.
The paper gives some really relatable examples of how this plays out in our everyday lives.
Yeah.
Think about the last time you felt insecure or jealous.
Or when I got caught up comparing myself to someone else on social media.
That's the illusion of separation at work.
Yeah.
We're constantly comparing ourselves,
Right.
striving for something more,
Mhm.
something outside of ourselves.
And in that striving, we miss the present moment.
Yes.
The only place where true connection and fulfillment can actually be found.
So if this illusion of separation is the root of suffering,
Right.
how do we break free from it?
Yeah.
How do we take off the blindfold?
The paper suggests that mindfulness and meditation can help us peel back those layers of veiling.
By practicing mindfulness,
Right.
we start to become aware of our thoughts,
Yeah.
our feelings,
Uh-huh.
our sensations without judgment.
Just observing them as they arise and pass away,
Exactly.
like clouds moving across the sky.
And in that space of awareness, we start to glimpse our true nature,
Okay.
that spark of I am that resides within each of us.
It's like finally taking off the blindfold
Yeah.
and seeing the world with fresh eyes.
And realizing that the connection we've been searching for has been there all along.
It's not something we need to achieve,
Right.
earn.
It's our fundamental state of being.
So mindfulness is like a bridge back to I am,
Yes.
a way to remember who we truly are.
And as we cultivate that awareness,
Right.
the grip of suffering starts to loosen.
We become less reactive,
Exactly.
less caught up in the drama of our thoughts and emotions.
And more able to experience the world with a sense of peace and even joy.
That makes sense. Now, the paper also connects the concept of I am to modern physics.
It does.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear how that works. Does modern physics actually support this idea of a unified consciousness?
Well, let's consider the observer effect in quantum mechanics.
The idea that the act of observation can actually influence the state of a quantum system.
Exactly. Some physicists believe that this might hint at a deeper connection between consciousness and reality.
Okay, that's fascinating.
Okay.
How does I am fit into all of this?
What if our individual observations are actually I am experiencing itself through us?
It's like we're all tiny windows.
Yes.
Through which I am is looking out at the universe.
Right.
Experiencing itself from countless perspectives.
And that also ties into the idea of quantum entanglement,
Okay.
where two particles can become linked
Yeah.
across vast distances.
It's like they're communicating instantaneously, as if space and time don't even matter.
Precisely. And this has led some physicists to propose that there might be a deeper level of reality where everything is interconnected.
A level of reality where separation is just an illusion?
Exactly.
That aligns perfectly with the concept of I am.
And that interconnectedness is something that the paper also explores
Okay.
through the lens of various spiritual traditions.
Oh, right. We haven't even touched upon the philosophical and spiritual implications of I am.
Right.
I know a lot of Eastern philosophy
Yes.
talk about a fundamental consciousness underlying reality.
Exactly. The paper highlights how this concept of I am resonates with ancient wisdom traditions from around the world.
Okay.
Take Hinduism, for example,
Right.
with its concept of Brahman,
Okay.
the ultimate reality that permeates all of existence.
Or Buddhism, with this concept of Buddha nature,
Yes.
the inherent potential for enlightenment that exists within all beings.
And even in Western philosophy, we see similar ideas.
Okay.
Idealism, for example, proposes that reality is fundamentally mental or immaterial.
So this concept of I am isn't just some new age fad.
No, it's not.
It's an idea that humans been grappling with for centuries.
It speaks to a deep longing within us,
Yeah.
a yearning for connection, for
Right.
meaning,
Yeah.
for a sense of belonging
Okay.
to something larger than ourselves.
But it's not just about abstract philosophy, right?
Yeah.
This concept of I am should have practical implications
Absolutely.
for how we live our lives.
The paper explores how recognizing our connection to I am can fundamentally change how we interact with the world.
Okay, so how do we take this profound idea
Yeah.
and actually integrate it into our daily lives?
Right.
That's what I'm really interested in. Well, the paper suggests that recognizing our connection to I am
Mm-hmm.
can fundamentally shift our perspective
Okay.
from me to we.
From me to we.
We start to see ourselves as part of something much larger,
Right.
interconnected with everything and everyone.
Well, it's like realizing we're all on the same team,
Right.
working towards a common goal,
Yeah.
even if we don't always realize it.
And that realization can foster a sense of compassion
Yes.
and understanding, a
Right.
desire to help others, simply because we recognize their inherent worth.
Yeah, because we're not just helping them.
Right. Yeah.
We're helping ourselves.
We're all part of the same I am, after all.
Exactly. The paper also emphasizes the importance of mindfulness
Right.
in cultivating the sense of interconnectedness.
We talked about mindfulness earlier
Yeah.
as a way to peel back the layers of veiling
Right.
and reconnect with our true nature as part of I am.
And when we practice mindfulness in our daily lives,
Yeah.
we start to see those connections everywhere.
And the way a stranger smiles at us on the street.
Yes.
Or in the intricate dance of a bee pollinating a flower.
We begin to appreciate the interconnectedness of all things,
Wow.
the delicate balance of life that sustains us all.
And that can have a profound impact on how we treat each other,
Yes.
how we care for the planet,
Uh-huh.
and how we approach the challenges we face.
The paper also touches on a fascinating idea
Okay.
that some physicists are exploring.
Okay.
The idea that consciousness might actually play a role in shaping reality.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
So it's not just that I am is observing the universe through us,
Right.
but that we as expressions of I am
Yeah.
are actively participating in its creation.
That's the idea, and it's incredibly empowering.
Because it means that our choices, our actions, our thoughts, even our intentions can have a ripple effect throughout the entire universe.
It's like we're all co-creating reality with IMM.
But that also comes with a huge responsibility, right?
Absolutely. If our consciousness is shaping reality,
Yeah.
then we need to be mindful of what we're putting out into the world.
We need to align our intentions with the highest good of all.
Yes.
To use our connection to I Am to create a more loving, compassionate, and just world.
That's a powerful message and a call to action for each of us.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the nature of consciousness,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with a question to ponder.
Okay.
If we are all expressions of I Am, what does that mean for our responsibility to each other and to the world around us?
It's a question that deserves our deepest contemplation.
Yeah.
And one that can guide our actions as we navigate this incredible journey of life.
Thank you for joining us on this exploration of consciousness.
It's been a pleasure.
And remember, the journey doesn't end here.
Keep exploring.
Keep questioning.
And keep diving deep into the mysteries of existence.
And who knows, maybe someday we'll all wake up from the dream of separation.
Yeah.
And realize our true nature as part of the one infinite I Am.
Absolutely.